We live in a society where technology is rapidly evolving and health is definitely worth prioritizing. But what if we can get the best of both worlds? This is the LG Puricare Wearable Air Purifier, and this is my review. What I have here for my review is their first generation wearable air purifier. LG already sells their second generation, which is a bit more expensive but has additional features I'll get back to later. To start, Puricare is LG's lineup of air purifiers. They managed to pack their technology from those into something we are all familiar today, the face mask. As for their unboxing experience, LG has opted for a unique teal-colored box with a flap that lifts up, revealing a mask covered in hard but clear plastic packaging. Underneath are the accessories, paperwork, and a fancy suede bag where you can store the mask. Taking a look at the mask itself, this is not your typical face mask. It has a very futuristic look to it that resembles a stormtrooper look and a gas mask at the same time. What's also unique about this mask is its modularity in terms of accessories. It comes with a medical-grade silicone face guard that attaches to the mask via magnets and clips to the bottom part of it to stay secured. Then there's a pack of 10 disposable inner cover filters made up of the same material on regular KN94 masks. These are placed inside the face guard to catch droplets from exhaled air. Also in the box is a strap extender which can be attached to the ear straps, as well as two H13 HEPA filters which are to be placed inside the filter cases. As for the technology inside, this is where things get more interesting. Removing the filter covers reveals the air intake fans that automatically changes speed thanks to the internal respiratory sensor located on the user-facing part of the mask. There are 3 fan speeds, low, medium, and high, and they can be manually adjusted by pressing the power button that also doubles as a light indicator for the battery level of the mask. What's interesting about the fans is that they only spin when air is inhaled, and they can only be heard when using it. The fans only spinning upon air intake makes sense because the airflow system on this mask is unlike your typical face mask. Air goes inside through the inlets of the filter covers, through the HEPA filters, then through the fans. It then goes inside the mask through the inner filter, then into the nose. As for the exhaled air, it does not exit where the air came from. Instead, it goes through the inner cover filter first, then exits through the air valve at the bottom of the mask. Now let's compare the gold standard mask today, which is the N95, to the H13 HEPA filter which is used in this LG air purifier mask. This is the part where numbers and technicalities come into play. To set up the comparison, an N95 mask by definition is a face filtering respirator or FFR which filters out 95% of airborne particles at 0.3 microns in diameter. Meanwhile, a HEPA filter or high efficiency particulate air filter is one that filters out 99.97% of 0.3 micron sized particles. On a side note, there are 2 classes of HEPA filters, namely H13 and H14, which have efficiency rates of 99.95 and 99.99% respectively, which collectively averages out at 99.97%. As for this review, the H13 HEPA filter is the one included in the LG air purifier mask. Diving into the more technical part of this review, both the N95 mask and H13 HEPA filter similarly capture air particles through 5 common mechanisms of air filtration: straining or settling, inertial impaction, interception, diffusion, and electrostatic attraction. However, for this comparison, the only applicable mechanisms are inertial impaction, interception, and diffusion. Inertial impaction happens when larger particles directly get caught in the filter fibers due to inertia. Interception happens when particles pass by a fiber and gets intercepted or caught. Lastly, diffusion occurs when small particles moving in random directions due to Brownian movement eventually make contact with the filter fiber. How do these mechanisms relate to the efficiency of an N95 mask and a HEPA filter? Good question. NASA's study on submicron and nanoparticulate matter removal by HEPA-rated media filters and packed beds of granular materials shows the capture efficiency of a HEPA filter. Through their graph, we can get an idea on the rated efficiency of a HEPA filter of 99.97%, which actually represents the minimum efficiency of the filter where particles at the most penetrating particle size, or MPPS, or 0.3 microns in this context, can pass through the filter. This graph also shows that particles larger and smaller than 0.3 microns have increasingly larger chances of getting caught in the filter through the three mechanisms mentioned earlier. In comparison, an N95 mask performs similarly as a HEPA filter, but its minimum efficiency at the MPPS of 0.3 microns is lower at 95%. In the context of COVID-19, the SARS-CoV-2 virus is around 0.125 microns in size. However, viruses do not travel in the air by themselves. They travel through droplets which are bigger in size. The larger they get, the higher the chance of them getting caught by the N95 masks and HEPA filters through inertial impaction and interception mechanisms. Although the numbers are very promising, HEPA filters and N95 masks only lower the risk of acquisition and transmission of the COVID-19, not totally preventing the virus from getting into the body. However, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, still recommends the use of face masks and the use of HEPA filters to improve air ventilation to prevent exposure to the virus. There is a concern about face masks with built-in valves, saying that they are not as effective as regular masks in minimizing the risk of exposure to the COVID-19 virus. However, according to CDC, findings from the research of the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, or NIOSH, suggest that N95 masks with exhalation valves are just as effective as procedure, surgical, and even cloth masks. This LG Air Purifier mask sure does have an air exhalation valve, but for those who are concerned about the valve situation should not be worried because of one thing, and that is because of the inner cover, which is made of the same material as those on KN94 masks. The exhaled air passes through it first before getting out of the mask through the valve. Now enough of the technical data. Let's talk about my experience of using this mask. This is an air purifier mask after all, and you might be thinking that it is heavy to wear. But it is not as feather light as your typical mask. Its 126-gram mask is actually not as heavy as you think, especially when I use the included strap extender, which removes the weight on my ears. The mask definitely has an unusual look to it that I actually got a cool interaction at the vaccination site where a staff approached me and asked what am I wearing. He was intrigued by my mask and I told him that mine is an air purifier mask with built-in fans. Breathability is a big departure from regular face masks, especially when the fans are off. I can definitely feel that air is moving through a lot of layers. But once I activate the fans at medium speed, which I use most of the time, I can breathe easily again as if I'm not wearing a mask at all. At times when I move a lot or if I just want a little bit more air to intake, that's where I switch the fan speed to high. Battery life for the mask depends on the fan speed used, and in my experience, I usually get around 6 hours with the fans set to medium setting and around 4 hours when set to high. I didn't get to use the low setting much since I tend to move a lot and I need lots of air to intake, but it's rated for up to 8 hours with that setting. I usually charge my mask when having meals during the day so I can top off the battery and basically extend its runtime for that day. Speaking of charging, it takes around 2 hours to charge the mask from empty to full via the USB-C port. The battery level is indicated through the light from the power button, going from red when it's charging to green when it's at full capacity. When using the mask from full charge, there are 3 colors that indicate the battery levels. Green when it is above 70%, orange when it is above 15%, and red when it's below 15%. Pressing the power button also makes a beeping noise each time it is pressed, and the number of beeps indicate the fan speeds, going from 1 to 2 to 3 beeps. When the battery level is below 15%, the red light will blink and the mask will beep 3 times twice, letting me know that I have to charge it soon. As for the maintenance of this mask, the HEPA filters are recommended to be replaced once a month until they get dirty. The inner covers are disposable like regular face masks, and the silicone face guard can be wiped clean with water or alcohol. The ear straps can be removed from the mask when it's time to clean them. All of those accessories, including the ear straps, are easy to remove and replace, and they can be purchased from the LG stores online. I mentioned earlier in this review that this is the first generation air purifier mask from LG. As of the time of this review, LG is currently selling the second generation mask, which comes in a sleeker design with bigger battery and a built-in mic and speaker, making it easier to communicate with others while wearing the mask. The second generation will also have mobile app support soon to monitor the battery level and air quality statistics. Now the question is, who should buy the LG Puricare Wearable Air Purifier? The first thing that comes to my mind are the frontliners or those who work in the medical field, as they are more at risk. Aside from them, I highly recommend it to those who can basically afford it, and to those who want a better sense of security and confidence from a mask that not only looks cool, but also cleans the air you breathe, and makes you breathe easily in this time where your health is just as important as everyone else's. Thank you for watching my review of the LG Puricare Wearable Air Purifier. Please hit the like button if you like this video, and please consider subscribing to Walt Knows Tech for more gadget reviews.